I tried to warn you guys before the offseason that the Tigers were going to be coming for blood in 2022, and the mayhem, the hot stove, it began today. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to the Tigers. We're going to break down his contract in just a moment because it's a juicy one. And this was also the second biggest announcement of the morning, right behind Spider-Man No Way Home. The trailer drops tomorrow. I could not be more excited. Anyways, back to baseball. What's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. If this is your first time on the channel, we talk baseball every single day, so if you like that sort of thing, don't be afraid to hit subscribe and also leave a like if you enjoyed today's video. Now, before we talk about Eduardo Rodriguez going to the Tigers, who are making a push to try and win the Central possibly as soon as 2022, we have three little stories that we have to bring up just real quick. First and foremost, we have the Giants extending Gabe Kapler through 2024, so he has done wonders in San Francisco. It began in 2020 when everyone, including me, thought that the Giants were going to be a bottom three team in the West over in the National League, but it turns out they were actually pretty good and overperformed, and then they did it again and set a franchise record in wins in 2021. So I really think that Gabe has done a fantastic job. His players, they fully believe in him, and ever since he left Philly, I really think that he has become a good manager. But if you're a Phillies fan, do you still hold remorse towards him? Or if you're a Giants fan, are you still kind of scared that that version of Kapler still lives within him? Do you think he's good or not? Let me know. If you're a Tampa Bay Rays fan, listen up, because the next minute, maybe 2 minutes, will be dedicated to your team, because you guys sneakily made two trades that, to me, actually prove that the Rays continue to do Rays things because they just don't hold on to anyone. So Mike Brasso, if you guys don't remember, him and Aroldis Chapman had a rivalry because Chapman almost hit Mike in the head, and then I think it was a year later, Mike Brasso returned the favor with a go-ahead home run. I mean, it was pure mayhem. It was so exciting for the game of baseball, but he is no longer with the Rays, so the rivalry is most likely over. Brasso is heading to Milwaukee in exchange for a young right-handed pitcher by the name of Evan Reifert. So Mike had 11 home runs and a 128 OPS plus in his first 86 games for Tampa Bay. He did slip a little bit, but he hit 333 in the World Series, so he can get it done when it matters most. So the 6'4" Evan Reifert, of course, he is going back to the Tampa Bay Rays. What do the Rays do best? They turn high spin rate guys, high strikeout guys with command issues into absolute monsters. Reifert had 103 strikeouts in 60 innings. That is absolutely insane. He has an upper 90s fastball and a devastating breaking ball. I feel like they are going to turn Mr. Evan into a beast. And in doing so, the Rays also made a trade. They gave away 31-year-old rookie Lewis Head, but he had a 2.31 ERA in 35 innings. That's pretty good, and I really think that Miami is going to need that because they gave away Yimi Garcia. I don't know if the Marlins are going to be a playoff team in 2022, but they're trying to get better, and giving away a player to be named later, it's probably not going to really mean much. But I mean, once upon a time, Cleveland, they got a player to be named later, and it was Michael Brantley, so you never know with these trades. Here we go, the biggest story of today, at least baseball-wise. 29-year-old Eduardo Rodriguez has signed a 5-year deal worth anywhere from $77 to $80 million with the Detroit Tigers. Now, I do quickly want to talk about Rodriguez as a pitcher before we talk about his impact with the Tigers. So this year, he ended 2021 with a +4 ERA, and to me, that was inflated by Boston's bottom 5 defense. They did not help him out whatsoever. And the proof, if you want evidence, is the fact that he had a 3.32 FIP, that is fielding independent of pitching. So the numbers speak for themselves. He was way better than a 4.5 ERA, which is what he finished with this season. So I really think that he is going to improve upon those baseline numbers and get better and better, because he's elite at limiting hard base hits and utilizing his changeup to induce ground balls, which is perfect for Comerica Park. Now, the Tigers, their defense wasn't perfect, but they're way better. I think that he is going to build upon what he laid in 2021 after coming back from myocarditis that he suffered from after developing COVID in 2020. He's only pitched 3 games in Comerica Park, but he's been pretty solid, again, because of that ground ball percentage. But when you introduce Eduardo Rodriguez into a young core of Casey Mize, Tarek Skubal, Matt Manning, and maybe this means that Tyler Alexander can now shift to a bullpen role, because the Tigers, they do have a solid bullpen with Funkhauser and the all-star Soto, but for lefties, they're kind of limited in that department. So if Tyler Alexander can just work out of the pen, I really feel like that makes the Tigers already so much better. It's almost like they made 2 signings in one, because they get their ace level type starting pitcher in Rodriguez, and they can move Alexander to a bullpen bullpen, maybe long relief role, because these young guys, they're not going to be throwing 7-8 innings every single start. So you're going to need a guy that can eat a few innings out of the pen. And in my opinion, Tyler Alexander is a perfect candidate. So 29-year-old Eduardo Rodriguez, he is set with Detroit for the next 5 years. He got paid. So Boston, they lose, aside from Chris Sale and Nathan Eovaldi, one of their better pitchers. And in the playoffs, Erod, he's been solid. So I really like this move. I'm happy for Detroit fans, even though it scares me as a Cleveland fan, knowing that the Tigers and the Twins, I think they're both going to be better in 2022. And then, of course, the White Sox have one of the deepest lineups in all of Major League Baseball, and their starting rotation is nothing to scoff at. So we're no longer the Comedy Central, as people called it. We are the AL Central, and I think that we're going to be a whole lot better. And we haven't even talked about the Royals with Nick Pratto. You have Bobby Witt Jr. They can make some noise as well. Now, the biggest question, at least from myself and other baseball fans, does this mean that the Tigers are pushing all of their chips to the table and they don't care about spending money because they've been so bad for so long? So does this mean that Carlos Correa is going to be next in line? Now, breaking news, or at least this is what I've been hearing, Carlos Correa just declined the qualifying offer. That's kind of like no crap Sherlock. He was going to reject that because he won a Gold Glove. He just was announced as a Platinum Glove winner, and he had a 134 WRC plus. So if Tatis and Francisco Lindor both got $300+ million, I mean, it's safe to say that Carlos Correa is sitting back at his house in his chair thinking, if they can get $300 million, so can I. And I don't disagree with him. So the Tigers, if they can pony up and find that amount of money to give to one single player after offering an Erod $77-80 million, I mean, more power to them. But I'm not sure if Correa is going to happen. So maybe the Tigers have to stick with someone like Trevor Story. To me, that actually makes a lot of sense because to me, Trevor Story is more athletic, and I know the underlining numbers might scare you because of his down 2021 season, but to me, I don't think that Trevor Story had a down season because he became a worse player. I just think that he understood he was going to be a free agent and that he kind of did the same thing that Bryce Harper did before he became a free agent. He wasn't diving for everything in the hole. He wasn't trying to extend doubles into triples and maybe risk pulling a hammy or pulling a calf. He kind of played it cool, and I think the numbers spoke for themselves. I truly believe in my heart that Trevor Story is going to be a monster yet again in 2022, so maybe you get him at a cheaper cost because of his down year. Now, because we just brought up Carlos Correa and his platinum year, I want to bring up the other guy that won it for the 5th consecutive year, Nolan Arenado. A lot of fans are upset, especially Pirates fans, because they believe that Jacob Stallings had a better year, and technically they're not wrong. You could also argue that Nolan Arenado robbed the platinum glove from his own teammate Harrison Bader. Giving a platinum glove to Nolan Arenado, there's no shame in that. I just don't know if a lot of people care about these awards anymore. And that's not because they're stupid or they're gimmicky. It's just the voting that goes into it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. Now, the final thing I want to discuss, it's probably a non-story, but it is something that I wanted to bring up with you guys. Shohei Ohtani, he expressed feeling stressed towards the end of the Angels season. Now, he has said since he joined Major League Baseball, the Angels have been non-competitive, and honestly, he said that it has been a kind of detriment on his mental health because he wants to be winning ball games, and I don't blame him whatsoever. And you could argue that's why he slowed down towards the final part of the season. It's almost like, what am I playing for? I'm finally healthy, and I can't really do anything with my health. So in 2022, I feel like this has to be the year in which the Angels, they go get 2 aces. Maybe they go grab Max Scherzer and someone like Robbie Ray. I don't know, that could be a thing. Move Mike Trout to left field because I think left is going to be better on his legs than playing center field. Brandon Marsh showed that he has elite sprint speed and his exit velo is pretty solid with the stick. So save Trouty and his legs. Play Brandon Marsh in center field, Joe Adell in right field. And to me, I think the Angels can make some noise if they can add some pitchers. Don't worry about offense anymore. Rendon, he got the surgery. He should be back and healthy going forward. So focus on pitching, please. The AL West is not going to be as good as before because the Astros, they're not rebuilding, but they're definitely losing some key pieces. So because we just talked about Shohei Ohtani, I want to show a clip that I just want to remind you guys of how strong this guy is. Going back to when he still played in Japan, this dude hit a ball through the roof, and a lot of you have never seen this clip, so let me introduce it to you. Shohei Ohtani literally left the stadium.
3球目高く上がった大谷は打球を見ているどうだ天井に入りました